Okay, so I've been filing this um, bridge down, or saddle down. See, the notches aren't as deep now. Um, is using uh, sandpaper and a block. Uh, Try to keep it fairly even. And I've found that when you're doing this kind of thing, you sand for a little bit this way and then switch it around to the other side, because inevitably the side that's closest to you is going to get sanded down more. So this notch here, that was a lot higher, or this side of the bridge was a lot higher. I've already kind of scored it a little bit here. I'm not going to completely get rid of these notches, um, but I've kind of scored it here in part just to make sure I know where that is. Um, but I'm going to sand this down a little bit more so these notches are barely showing. I may have to like concentrate on the middle part here, because it's kind of bowed a little bit, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but these ends are a little bit lower. I might concentrate on this. Um, and then I'm going to kind of round this back part. I'm not going to do that to the front because that will affect I don't want to change the point at which the strings leave the saddle. But I do want to round it up on this side just to make it look a little nicer. So I've got these notches mostly gone, and now I'm going to sort of shape it on the back side like I was talking about. And I didn't mention the painter's tape, putting painter's tape on here so I don't accidentally sand the, the saddle, and just to keep the dust away from everything. But getting close. I'm just doing this with my hand now because I wanted to kind of wrap around this edge, this corner, and it's starting to kind of get to round out a little bit. You can see, or maybe you can't see, that the notches don't go all the way across now. That's because this is being shaped back. And I'm going to get some higher grade sandpaper to finish this so I don't go too far. So I think I'm done on that. Uh, that's not a real good shot, but it's kind of rounded a little bit, looks a little nicer. It's not that rounded, but it's a tiny bit. I didn't want to go too much. And actually it looks a little nicer. That this plastic is kind of stained over the years. You can still see it on the front there. I didn't want to try too hard to get that off of there. Didn't think I'd be able to do that without getting the wood here. But so it's looking pretty good. We're getting there. I'm going to go back and do some touching up with the stain. There are a handful of little marks here. I'm going to be real careful with that. I'm not trying to match this color exactly. I'm just going to put a little bit of stain on there to kind of make the nicks and dings look, or what's left of the nicks and dings, not look so bad. I've already, that's just a reflection in the light there, but um, I have put some stain on some of these nicks here, and not to really try to match the color. Got a lot of that dust still on there. Take that off. But just to kind of disguise the nicks that some of these, I mean, they're kind of jumping out on the video here, but in person they don't look that bad. Before they were just jumping out. This stuff on the, like these spots on the crown there, that was just bare wood, and that just really jumped out at you visually. And I just put enough stain on there. I think I used a red chestnut, just to kind of smooth it out so it's not so annoyingly obvious. But I missed a few spots, and I'm not going to worry too much about some of this. Just a little dab there, and if you're doing this, just put a tiny bit on there and then wipe it off pretty quickly, and the stain will go into the bare wood. But if you just put a, wipe it on this and don't wipe it off, then you'll have a big circle where obviously something's happened, some stain's been put on there. Other than that, I think we're pretty close. I've got strings coming in the mail. Hopefully get here in a couple days, and I'll be able to string this guy up and fire it up. So I put some strings on it, and remember how I was saying that this end in here, up over here, didn't need to be as high as it was? Well, I was wrong, and when I got it strung up, um, the first string on this side here had fret buzz. Actually, the second one had it too. So, and I didn't really take much off. Didn't really take the length, height down on that one. But either way, the next step was to try to pull the saddle out, and it was glued in there. And I tried a couple things. I tried pulling it out. I tried heating it up, and then pulling it out, and gave up on that and started like trying to put holes in it and cut it and try to, I figured I'd have to like really work hard to get it out, and it still wasn't budging, and finally just yanked real hard and it came out. Maybe if I just yanked it real hard before, I might have been able to reuse it, but live and learn. But anyway, it gave me a chance to use this bone bridge piece that I got a while back for another project that ended up not using it. Decided against using it for whatever reason. It was longer because you can only get these for guitar pretty much, as long as then I needed to have it. So I used this small file to kind of cut it in half. I actually got it to a certain point and thought I could snap it to break the rest of it, which is something that you can do with the plastic saddles pretty successfully, but obviously you can see it kind of broke in a funny way. I'm going to be, I've already started rounding this off, and it's not going to be a big deal because this piece is plenty long. It might look a little funny, but it's not going to be hard to do. But anyway, this piece is too thick, which is not surprising. So I'm going to have to sand it down, which is what I'm doing here. So my basic method here, and I'm going to get a bigger piece of sandpaper. My basic method for thinning this out is to just get some sandpaper and take off a little bit at a time this way. It's the same process I would use with the plastic bridges. It's just going to take a little bit longer because it's a harder material, this bone. But you know, do a little bit this way, flip it over, and do a little bit that way. And I'm going to check periodically with my calipers to make sure that the thickness is even as I go along here. Oh, that's pretty close. I got 2.94 on one side, 2.92 on the other. So I'm going to call that good and keep working on that. So I got the bridge all sanded down and in place. There's still some fret buzz up here, and I think a big part of it is this last notch here is really deep. So what I'm going to try to do, all right, there's a cat drama going on over here. New cat's bugging the old cat. Anyway, what I'm going to try to do is actually put a tiny bit of Loctite in that gap so that the string will sit up a little higher. And it's probably not regulation to do, but I think it might work. It seems like I've had this issue before, and it did work. Alright, you two, this is getting ridiculous. So the new saddle did solve the fret buzz problem, and the uke turned out pretty well. I forgot to do a wrap-up video of it, and I don't have the uke anymore. I sold it to a gentleman who's hopefully enjoying it, but it turned out pretty well. I do have some footage that I took for a different video of me playing it, going through some chords and finger picking, so you can I'll finish this up with that so you can get an idea of how it sounds. And yeah, this project turned out pretty good, and see you next time.